Hey everyone, welcome back to another Clara IO video. In this one, we're going to expand upon our last video and we're going to get into some actual modeling, at least the basics. So in the past couple of videos, if you've been following along, we've just been working with the entire object, and we've been using tools like move, rotate, and scale. And those three tools are great, but they affect the entire object. So now we want to get down to the parts of an object so we can actually model something kind of cool. Okay, so over here on the left-hand side, you're going to see these two tabs, Explore and Tools. When you click on Tools, you now get a lot more. So right underneath the Tools tab, we're going to look at these icons right here. We're going to look at just the first four. So the very first one says Object, and these are tools that will affect the entire object. Today, we're going to really focus on these next three, these middle three, and they are faces, edges, and vertices, okay, or vertex. So all 3D objects are made up of those three components: faces, edges, and vertices, okay? So if you go back to your days in geometry, the face is the larger part, and you can see as I mouse over them, they highlight, and I can left click and I can select them. Okay, I can also do that with edges by selecting edges, mouse over, click, and select. And same thing with a vertex, click on the little blue points, and I can select them. Okay, so I'm going to start off with face mode. If you left mouse click, you select. If I want to select more than one, I'm going to hold down the control key and I'll click again, and you'll see that I can select. Now if I want to deselect, I could click outside in an open spot, and that will deselect all. I'm going to go ahead and select some more. If I want to just deselect one of them, I hold down the Alt key or the Option key if you're on a Mac, and you simply click on the one you want to deselect, and you'll see that it deselects. So Control to select or add to the selection, Alt, Option to take away from the selection. Okay, and the same thing goes with edges. Control to add to the selection. Again, you can see they're highlighted right there. Hold down the Alt, Option key to deselect. And same thing with vertices. So once you get used to working with those three, and that'll take a little bit of time, the next tool that I like to teach my students is called the Extrude tool. So you're going to want to get into face mode, and I'm going to go ahead and just click on this side face here. There's a whole bunch of tools over here, but I think the most important one to start working with is Extrude. So when you click on Extrude, you'll see that the object grew a little bit, and that's because it's extruding. It's creating a new set or group of geometry, and it's moving outward this way. If you can't see it like this, what I recommend you do is come up here to the top left. You're going to see these three little menu buttons here. Mine says realistic. If yours says wireframe, then you already see the brand new extrusion. Okay, so I'm going to undo the extrusion, and then I'll do it again so you can see that it just pops out and we get this new section here. Well, I'm going to keep it on realistic so I can see the solid shape, but I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to turn on show edges. And when you turn on show edges, it's like the best of both worlds. You get the realistic shading, but you also get to see the edges at the same time. And so that's extremely helpful as a 3D modeler. So now that I've extruded it out, I've got a new batch of geometry that I can work with, and I can make the shape more interesting. I could just go ahead and use the move tool and just go ahead and bring it out wherever. If I do another extrusion, you'll see that it brings it out just a little bit. Over here on the right, you'll see that these are the settings for extrude, and it says length. And I can go ahead and change that from 0.2. I can change that to 0.5. Press return, and you'll see it came a little further. If I type in 1, you'll see it comes out a whole other bunch. So now I can do the same thing. I can select another face, extrude, type in a larger number, and I can just go about modeling like this. Keep extruding, and there we go. So if you're into, just block modeling like this or Minecraft style, you could go ahead and do this. For instance, I could go back to my quad view here, and I could just, if I'm looking in my top view here, I could just do extrude again. Keep changing it to a length of 1. And in my top view, this could be really handy for modeling a floor plan or a blueprint for something like a level of a game design. So these could be the walls. And in my top view, I could just go ahead and keep extruding. So now I could extrude, and I'll go ahead and make that wall, like that big. And then if I want to turn the corner, I would do something like this, where I do another extrusion. Maybe come over here and type in a specific number. If you don't want to type in a specific number, you could just eyeball it. And then let's say I wanted to make this a wall. So what I would do is I would probably come over here and I'd select this face here. Okay, so they see that little corner face selected. And now if I extrude that, I'm now turning a corner, and now I'm building a wall. Okay, and I'm designing my level here. So there we are. Now if I want to turn another corner and make another, like a hallway or something, again, extrude, do it just a little bit. I'm going to press F to focus in on that, just so you can see it a little bit better. So I brought that in. Again, I'll just kind of eyeball it. And then now I'll select a different face, extrude, and I'll come out in this direction. And you can see what I'm building here. And I just kind of keep zooming out a little bit. And I could just start building a hallway going that direction there. Okay, so you can extrude in any of the directions, X, Y, Z. Again, I could make like a tower or something and just go up over here. And you can have some real fun with it. So practice with the extrude tool, make a whole bunch of blobby shapes. You'll end up designing a whole bunch of game levels and buildings and kind of architectural stuff. That's fine. In the next video, I'll show you how to take the extrude tool, and we can go ahead and model something like a set of staircases, or a staircase, or airplane, and we'll model something that's a little more real world. Okay, thanks very much, everyone, and I will see you next time.